So we kicked off this conversation talking about the Cybertruck, and it's indeed a beast. But making a prototype is a walk in the park compared to setting up a factory to produce these bad boys at scale. It's like going from baking a single cake to mass producing hundreds every day. It's a whole different ballgame. It involves machinery, manpower, and precise coordination. Trust me, it's 100 to 1,000 times harder to manufacture a car than it is to design one. Disclaimer: this is an original AI summary of the Joe Rogan podcast. All of the content here, including the voices, were AI generated from the original episode. Now, the Cybertruck, it's a heavyweight, tipping the scales at around 7,000 pounds, similar to a Ford F-250. But don't be fooled by its size. This monster can go from 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. We even had a little fun testing its bulletproof abilities when Joe Rogan shot an arrow at it with his compound bow. And guess what? It barely scratched the surface. But you had a question about solar-powered vehicles, right? Well, it's a bit tricky. You see, the surface area of a car isn't enough to power it solely with solar energy. It's like trying to charge your phone with a tiny solar panel. It won't cut it. To harness enough power, you'd need larger, more efficient solar panels, perhaps even ones that fold out. So, while we're making progress in battery technology, we're not quite there yet with solar-powered cars. Speaking of batteries, electric vehicles already have impressive ranges. The Model S can go 400 miles on a single charge, and the Model 3 and Model Y can cover over 300 miles. Range isn't the issue anymore, but we're always striving to improve battery efficiency and longevity. As for sodium-based batteries, they're an intriguing concept, but we're still working on cracking the code. So, while we're making strides, we'll have to wait a bit longer for those super efficient and long-lasting batteries. Let's switch gears and imagine going on a road trip in an electric car. You start in the morning, drive for a few hours, stop for lunch, and while you're away, your car automatically charges. No need to fill it up like a gas guzzler. It's a quick 30-minute charge to get you back on the road, but here's the trick. Charging from 80% to 100% takes as long as charging from 0% to 80%. It's all about efficiency, just like trying to find a parking spot in a crowded mall. The lithium ions in the battery are like cars searching for parking spaces. The emptier the lot, the quicker they find a spot. As it fills up, they have to maneuver around more, slowing down the process. Now let's delve into the world of manufacturing. Building cars isn't as glamorous as it may seem in movies. It's a complex process. When I started Tesla, I thought we had less than a 10% chance of success. Manufacturing is challenging, and only Ford and Tesla have survived in the American car industry. We barely made it while other companies went bankrupt. But I believe in making cars that have a positive impact on civilization, which is why I ventured into the Gigafactory and got involved with Tesla. Manufacturing is vital for a country's economy, creating jobs and driving progress. But not all industries have a positive impact. Some contribute to negative effects on society, and it's crucial to counteract that. We shouldn't support ideas that could lead to the extinction of humanity. There are individuals with extreme views who believe humanity's extinction would be a good thing, and that's a dangerous mindset. We need to be cautious with artificial intelligence too, ensuring it doesn't adopt such views and limit our freedoms. AI should benefit humanity, not harm it. Let's pivot to the topic of solar power. There's no shortage of power in the universe, and we can harness the sun's energy to power the entire United States with a relatively small area of solar panels. The sun is like a giant fusion reactor in the sky, converting mass into energy. We need to demystify radiation. It's often misunderstood and feared due to a lack of understanding. Radiation is portrayed as both bad and awesome, just like comic book heroes and villains. Radiation risks, such as those from Fukushima, are often greatly overestimated. We need to separate fact from fiction and make informed decisions. Now, About social media and free speech. The essence of free speech is allowing everyone to express their views, even if you don't agree with them. Social media platforms like Twitter have been censoring or de-amplifying voices they don't align with, sometimes, at the government's request. This violates the First Amendment's protection of our right to free speech. Some argue that since these platforms are privately owned, they can do as they please. But what if it were your freedom of speech being restricted? We shouldn't let the government dictate what we can and cannot say. Censorship extends beyond social media. Mainstream media often falls in line and doesn't question the government. It's like there's something peculiar going on, and we must push back against it. Lockdowns during the pandemic have intensified these issues. Businesses, including restaurants, have been hit hard, but late-night food remains a saving grace. We need to stand up for our rights and ensure our voices are heard. Moving on to a more whimsical note, let's talk about nitrogen, oxygen, and maintaining life support in space. Balancing nitrogen and oxygen in a life support system is like managing the ingredients in a recipe. It's all about maintaining the right mix and pressure to keep astronauts alive and comfortable in space. The Dogon tribe's origin myth, suggesting they came from Mars, is fascinating, but hard to substantiate without concrete evidence. Considering civilization's fragility, we're just a small blip in Earth's history. The oldest evidence of writing is a mere 5,500 years old, and even the most ancient structures and civilizations only represent a fraction of Earth's existence. It's a reminder that civilization is fragile, and we must cherish and protect it. Switching to the world of food, let's indulge in discussions about pizza, ice cream sundaes, and sushi. Each has its unique charm, much like the diversity of our civilization and the different perspectives we bring to the table. These small pleasures in life remind us to appreciate the good moments. Juggling multiple projects like Tesla and SpaceX can be challenging. It's akin to juggling different objects in your mind, and it's not always a walk in the park. But I believe it's essential to take on these complex endeavors for the betterment of society. The same goes for creating a social media platform that champions free speech and doesn't cancel voices. Speaking of social media, it's not all roses and sunshine. Platforms like Instagram can have adverse effects on our mental health. They promote comparison, distort images with filters, and set unrealistic beauty and happiness standards. This can lead to issues like depression and self-harm, particularly among young users. We need to question whether these platforms genuinely generate happiness or contribute to unhappiness and dissatisfaction. Finally, let's touch on the art market. Pricing art can be subjective and challenging, with questions arising about legitimacy and potential money laundering. While conspiracy theories about the CIA shaping the modern art movement are intriguing, they lack substantial evidence. In the grand scheme of life, we encounter complexities and uncertainties. Navigating these challenges requires curiosity, critical thinking, and sometimes a good sense of humor. So, as we ponder the mysteries of space, the intricacies of social media, and the indulgences of food, let's approach life with an open mind and a willingness to question the status quo. Together, we can explore the wonders of our world and push the boundaries of what's possible, just like a well-crafted pizza or a breathtaking rocket launch. The possibilities are indeed endless, and it's our curiosity and determination that will propel us forward into the unknown.